Welcome, welcome. My name is Raquel Williams, and I am the motivating phenomenon behind the 1 Million Moms Off Welfare Initiative. And I have with us today three very distinguished trailblazers in the Mckinney Housing Authority. They are a part of the Resident Council leadership body, and we're just here today to just discuss, what self-sufficiency means to us and what are the barriers, if any, that we just need other people to understand. I always like to say, no one wakes up in the morning and say, today is the day I'm going to choose to have a baby and choose to support the baby alone by myself. No one wakes up and say, today I'm going to, fall out in my relationship and try this role of single parenting alone. And you just don't wake up and say, I want to be a single parent today. I'm going to find the most deadbeat person out there that I can mate with and have a child and struggle. You don't choose to struggle, but struggle kind of happens, and there's a lot of variables that create financial struggle or economic, I guess the opposite of economic strength would be just economically challenged. But our goal is to definitely increase the financial capacity of low-income families, and we're looking at the 1 Million Moms of Welfare as a strategy to do that. So I have with me Lashadian Shamwell. He is the president of the Mckinney, the Resident Council of the Mckinney Housing Authority. I have Connie Crosby. She is the vice president. And I have Sandy Escamille, and she is both the treasurer and she's playing a dual role as the secretary. So welcome, Lashadian, Connie, and Sandy. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we could just kind of get in with the questions, I'll just ask it. How long have you guys lived in public housing?
I've been in public housing as the head of household for a year now. But growing up, my mother was on Section 8 until she was able to buy her first house. So I've had quite some time dealing with the public housing.
Okay, great. Connie?
Oh, I've been here since 1986, and I also work for the Housing Authority and raised two boys.
So you lived there since 1986. You've raised two children, and you also actually work for the Housing Authority and have done so for 23 years.
Almost 23. Next month will be 23 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. What about you, Sandy? How long have you lived in public housing?
I've lived in public housing for about 10 years. I'm a single mother of three. I also work with the Mckinney Public Housing for about almost a year now.
Wonderful. So Mckinney is actually an advocate. They just believe in definitely hiring residents, which that's a model that, other housing authorities really need to revisit, because they think just because you live in public housing where you have no skills, and that's just clearly not the case, as you'll hear more in our interview. So the next question would be, what would you say are the fundamental principles of being self-sufficient? Connie, what are the principles or the elements that you would say are needed in order to be self-sufficient?
Well, I figure you have to work hard and learn to stay within your means. And hopefully when I come of retirement age, I will have somebody out there fighting for me to make sure that I can remain self-sufficient.
Wonderful. Live within your means. Now that is critical. What about you, Lashadian?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few things that I think most importantly is a will and a desire and a mindset. I think we have to first change our mindset to want to be self-sufficient. And once we change our mindset, then the will and the desire will be there to grind out and work hard. I mean, there's a lot of things that play into making that happen. Like I said, child care, affordable housing, wages, competitive wages and opportunities and job opportunities. places like ours where we don't have public transportation. There's a lot to do with it, but if you have the mindset that this is a place that I'm temporarily in and that eventually I'm going to work my way out, and that's the most important.
Mhm. I agree. What about you, Sandy?
I would say it's affordable housing, support, direction to rebuilding your life, self-esteem, parental structure, support groups, guidance, just because a lot of people that come in already have some issues that they had no place to go and had to come to low-income housing, and so they need to start from the bottom and work their way up.
Mhm.
That's good you say that. When you said self-esteem and parenting structure, there's this understanding that the reason why people are broke or in public housing or on welfare is because they just don't want to work. And basically what you guys have said very clearly is it's not just about having a job. It's about having competitive wages. It's about economic opportunities to advance and excel. It's the esteem. It's the self-esteem that's associated with being able to get up and move forward. But Shadian, you said it was about the grind. It was about the momentum, the diligence, the grit to keep moving, child care, education, affordable housing. So if any one of those elements are broken, then would you agree that the ability for one to move forward is severely hindered?
Yes. So one of the things that we learned is that living in poverty or in low income, all of our issues are interconnected. Whereas in the middle class, one problem may not affect the other, but in living in poverty, all of our issues are interconnected. If we don't have transportation, we can't get to work. We can't get to work. We can't afford child care. We can't afford child care. We can't. So it's a big circle where all of our issues are. And one small problem, when you're already living in poverty, can cause a domino effect and make it that much more harder to be successful.
Wow. So, and I mean, this is opening my eyes, and even though I know this, but sometimes to hear it real. So if programs are not comprehensive in that they are addressing every single issue that connects to your life, then the chances of moving forward will be slim.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly.
That's good for programs out there. If you're running a family self-sufficiency program or resident services, you heard it right here that these issues are interconnected. So it's not just about moving him or her to a job. Is that job competitive? Is their skills competitive with a competitive market? So there's a complete analysis that has to take place in order for these gauging holes to be filled. Because would you agree, and I would say yes, but, where do you think the perception comes from where they say, we just want to stay home and we are lazy and we don't want to work? That is just totally opposite of what our reality is.
Yeah, it's systemic, and it's set up in a way to where the harder you work, the less you get, and it's almost like as soon as you find a job, even though that's not taking care of all of the elements, then they start to decrease your benefits. And so then you find yourself working harder for exactly the same thing you were already getting to do nothing. And so you get people set up to say, okay, well, I get more to do nothing. So why work myself to death for nothing to end up with nothing? And so it's the system that's set up, dividing us and separating our families.
I'm going to make sure I write that down. Why work myself to death to get nothing? Say that again.
I don't know exactly how I said it, but since we got this recorded, we can go back.
I'm going to find it because, this is a recording and it's going out. But I'm going to find it and quote you verbatim because I think that's very powerful. Very, very powerful. So let's move on. Let me ask you this question. What is it that you would like others to know about your journey?
Man, the journey for me, I just want men to know that, there's a lot of us out here, and though we're overlooked by the system, I mean, it is hard for men to get any kind of assistance. When me and my son were homeless and had nowhere to go, I mean, that was just that. There was no second chances. There was no housing authority I could get into. So my journey has been a long, hard-fought journey, and I fight for equality for parents, not just moms. And I think for me to be a part of this initiative to show that it's not just moms out here, but there's fathers who don't get half as much assistance as mothers. And so if we're thinking that the journey is hard for mothers, it's twice as hard for single fathers out here. And I thank God for the laws that change and for the McKinney Housing Authority that allowed me a second chance, for a federal law that changes that says, okay, you made a mistake, but it's not a life sentence. You can go back 7 years. So after my background was 7 years, I was able to get into housing, and now I'm able to take care of my kids and raise my kids. But again, it's not just women out there. There's fathers out here that are working hard. There are really some good men out here that are grinding, and I thank God for McKinney Housing Authority giving me an opportunity to not just raise the one child that I was homeless with, but to have the 6 children that are in my household now. It's amazing and a blessing.
Wow. Kudos and just blessings to you, Lashadian. You talked about your criminal background, being a deterrent, but you were able to persevere nonetheless. What is it that if someone had to come to you and say, listen, we want to help, in what ways would you tell them to help?
Help the situation or help myself?
Well, I think you being an advocate for residents like you, what would residents like you specifically need?
Residents like me just need to know that there are opportunities out here, that there are laws that are now taking place to get rid of the check the box in the background, and that if you diligently work hard, there are opportunities. I think that the people need job training and need to be rewarded for their work. I think that in order to help the situation, we really need to tie wages to inflation. If we can tie wages to inflation, that would help everybody in the country.
Right.
Everybody in the country. I mean, if we just look at simple things, Starbursts when I was growing up were 49 cents. They're $2.15 now. You get no extra Starburst, no extra ingredients, but you're charged 5 times as much. But the wages are still the same. Mm-hmm. And so if we don't tie our wages to inflation, then everyone is going to be in poverty.
Wow. And you're right. And, you have our candidates out there looking to increase minimum wage, but then you have some people who say, well, if you increase minimum wage, then, everything else will increase. And then you have some people arguing, well, I got a master's degree and I make, $18 an hour. So if it's $15 an hour with just minimum wage, so we have to battle those nuances about, I guess, people's ability to feel entitled based off of, I guess, things that they've acquired. I'm not sure. But, this could go on and on and on. We could talk about this till the cows come home. Connie, let me ask you this. What is it that you would like others to know about your journey?
Well, my journey, as I say, it wasn't easy because I was a single mother of 2 boys. But thank to God that I was able to pull myself up and make a better role model for them. Mm-hmm. Like I say, I got them. They graduated high school. They got educated. I have one that's an educator and a mentor of young men. I have another one that's like he installs. He's like a technician. So I brought them up in McKinney. They're still in McKinney and still putting out in McKinney.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what would it, maybe your journey, if you never got the opportunity to actually work for the Housing Authority, make somewhat of a prevailing wage, things might have been different.
It would have been a whole lot different. And I got to give kudos to the McKinney Housing Authority because they were there when I needed them. And, you know, and I was able, like I said, I was able to pull myself up from paying, you know, income-based. I pay income-based rent now where they were figuring out by what I was making because I was on jobs that was paying me $4.76 an hour, but I was still going to that job. I was walking to that job at 4:30 in the morning to get there. So my journey has been rather tough.
Right. Now, what would you say, I mean, that's a work ethic that I believe still exists, you know, under the right conditions, because like Lashadian says, you know, I'm not going to work myself and kill myself to get less than what I would get if I did absolutely nothing. So we're definitely looking at ways to incentivize the pathways of self-sufficiency. So, you know, we're just about at the end of our interview, but I would like to just ask it's like a twofold question. Number one, we know the conference is coming up at the McKinney Housing Authority that you guys are hosting October 7th and 8th, 2016. It's going to be at the Courtyard by Marriott in Dallas, Allen. And it is the 1 Million Moms of Welfare Economic Empowerment Conference. So each one of you, we can start with you, Sandy. Tell me why you're attending the conference, and tell me what is the most absolutely important thing that you have to walk away from the conference with.
Well, I want a better life for me and my kids, and I see this as a great opportunity to achieve this. And I also want to encourage others who are also in the same race to have that chance to be successful. And I believe this is that great opportunity to take. It isn't easy to do it on your own, but with the right directions and encouragement to strive to achieve in life, and having places like McKinney Housing Authority to go off of your income base, because you don't have, you know, $20-something an hour and you're getting maybe $12, $10, $7 an hour. You know, you need to be able to support your family. And I see it being a great, you know, chance and opportunity to achieve. And
so are you looking? Go ahead.
And the one thing that I would say to gain, I would like to grow from this event and become successful, so that I can gain the respect for all individuals who are on the low-income housing. And this includes the elderly, the disabled, veterans, single families, you know, mothers with, you know, kids. You know, this is everybody. It's not just, you know, I mean, we have citizens that worked in McKinney all their lives and still get only a certain amount of Social Security income.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's more than doable. You're saying that you want to walk away with something that will enhance your ability to grow. You want to come in there in one way, but walk out with more information, more capacity, your capacity stretch, whereby you can start to utilize the information, the tools, the techniques, the resources, and start to, you know, build and better carve your future the way as you see it in your head. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yes.
And I thank you for your participation. Absolutely. What about you, Connie? Why are you attending the conference, and what do you want to walk away from the conference with?
I want to walk away with knowing that, hey, I want to have somebody out there that's fighting when I get to my age of retirement, that I'll still be able to be self-sufficient. And I also was at your conference in South Carolina, so I really enjoyed that when I was there, because I brought a lot back with me then.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, so
Yes.
you went to the Resident Council Legislative Conference. Okay.
Yes, I've been to one of your conference. Yes, and
Okay.
it was. I mean, it was really educational. I got a lot out of it. I even bought. I mean, I even talked about it when I got back here. So it was.
I see. Obviously, we're back. We're coming now. You brought us to the whole city.
Yes, yes, I did. I came back and I talked about what I had, what I had experienced down there. I mean, and I just want to go get some more of that where we can get more educated on about what we can do.
Mhm. What we can do. So, and we'll close it out. We're going to let Lashanian kind of close us out, but I'm going to add another question on Lashanian's as you close us out. So, of course, why you're attending the conference, and then what is it that you want to walk away with? But what is it that you want other resident council leaders to know? Period.
Okay, well, I'm attending the conference just to let men know, hey, we can get involved. We're out here. Not just men. I know we brought up the age, but millennials. I think we need to get the young people involved. And that's really what I'm out here to motivate the young people to get active and get involved, to use that youth and vigorism to do something positive for our people, to just be a face to show them that, hey, men and women are working together. It's not just a broken system of broken families of people that don't want to work together, but that together we can accomplish all these things. What I would like to gain from the conference, some more knowledge, something I can take back and give to my community, and touch one family at a time. I've heard a lot about what you guys are doing. I'm quite excited. Big ups to you and your organization, and other resident councils, man. Like I said, just get out there. I want to be a young face, a young, handsome face. So,
Please.
That's why I got my mouth worked on to make sure I was ready for October. Excuse my impaired speech right now, but I'll be ready in October. Just to show them that, look, man, these young, motivated people can make a change for all the people that have been making changes in the way for us all the time. And then, to be honest, a million moms off welfare. I would like to meet a million moms, to meet some of these single dads and maybe put two heads together and to really, really take over the system. But no, I'm just joking. I look forward to being a part of this.
Well, there is a place at the table, Shady, and I told you that before. You can't move a million moms off welfare without addressing the needs of fathers because, when they did that research, fathers were a critical part because they could determine how long a mom will be on welfare or dependent upon government by the amount of child support that they receive. And when we say child support, we're not just meaning money, any kind of support, whether it's child care. You might not be able to pay, but that don't mean, if you're not working, then you could be at the house watching the kids on the first shift. She watches the kids on the third shift while you go to work. So it's a partnership that needs to take place. And whereby when the system fails us, do we fail or do we create our own solutions? And that's what this is about. We have created our own solution. So I call you to the challenge and say, be that voice for men. You are a young father. You are doing it. And you could give a lot of different fathers some strength, some motivation as to what's necessary to be better parent partners, be better fathers, be better providers for their families. You sound very intelligent, very articulate, and I'm just glad that I was able to have this small moment in time with you guys on this phone. And our hopes is to be able to share it. We hope that you've been able to listen all the way to the end. We hope that you'll be able to register for the 1 Million Moms Off Welfare Conference coming up in McKinney, Texas. We're calling all Texas housing authorities in the region. Residents are excited, and this is the opportunity where you want to strike that iron while it's hot and get everybody on one page, on one accord, and let's get that voice that has been silent for so long. Let's get it active. Let's get it trained. Let's get them developed, and let's get them moving, and let's get our programs outcomes increased and improved because we could just do more. We could do better, and we could do this together. So I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. This has been a 1 Million Moms of Welfare interview with the McKinney Housing Authority Resident Council. So if you guys want to see the young, handsome Lashadian, you got to come out and you got to register for the conference here October 7th and 8th. Log on to the website, www.1mmow.org/tour-registration. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for just doing this interview for me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.